All right, everybody, how we doing today? It's your boy, it's Joey. Hold on one second. Wait a second. As soon as I start, she starts singing. All right, how we doing, everybody? Welcome to my live coding event. Let me just for a second. Okay, how we doing, everybody? Welcome to my live coding event. Today, what we're going to be working on, as you can probably see on the screen here, we're going to be working on a IPv4 subnetting calculator. Okay, I'll share the link with you guys here. I'll share it up in the chat. Let's go. Let's start with that. Yeah. So I shared the link to the CodePen, guys. Come join me, bud. Me, actually, you know what I need to do? I need to open up on the Facebook. That's what I need to do. Because I know I get. Let me do this. Just. And I can monitor that live chat. All right, so I'm monitoring that live chat. The only chat I guess I don't see is the YouTube. All right, guys. So, like I said, what we're gonna be doing today is we're gonna be uh, we're gonna be working on an IPv4. And I got distracted real fast. I'm so sorry. But let's get back to it. And let's jump right into things here, so we don't waste any more time. So here we go. So this is what I've been working on a couple pens. If you don't know what a pen is, what a pen is, uh, you can sign up for one of these accounts for free, guys. Uh, just real quick, yeah, that's what I was doing. All right, let me actually put the. So I can see that chat. All right. So like I was saying, what a pen is, it pretty much takes a lot of the uh, it takes a couple of layers. I'm just gonna try to make it quick and easy. It takes just like a couple of layers out of out of what it takes to pretty much build uh, like a web page. You know what I'm saying? Or host a web page. I, I don't. I guess I'm probably fumbling over myself a little bit here, but how can I explain this? So let me just open up a new pen. This is gonna be the easiest way for me to do it. Okay. All right. So this is what a pen is. Okay. It's pretty much a HTML, CSS, and a JavaScript. Uh, we'll come over here. We'll just say stream pen. Okay. We'll save it, and I'm gonna save it as so you can save these as what up, Gamer Golf? How we doing, brother? I see that. Little jokes. And I'll say that makes so much. They got so many levels. Oh, Richard. How we doing, bub? Thank you for jumping in. Just going over CodePen real quick. For anybody out there who's not too familiar with CodePen, Gamer Golf. I don't know if you're too familiar with CodePen. I'm not going to go too deep into everything with CodePen. Just a quick overview, and then I'm going to jump over back to what we're going to be pretty much doing for the rest of the stream. How are you though? Been a while. I'm back on to studying. Just not streaming to study. I found I was kind of getting distracted with that, so kind of pulled the studying off, but still working on things. I've been making a lot of like web type stuff. I just found like a super interest in it, so I've just been diving first into it. Whatever, I'm getting distracted again. I'm so bad with getting distracted. Okay, either way. So here we go. Like I said, so what it does is in a CodePen, it's pretty much you're working inside of like the body of a HTML page. Yeah. Yep, I'm familiar with those too. Those are some some really good IDEs and stuff like that. PyCharm, JetBrain. I've used them before. Those are good. This is let me see. So I mean, I guess this could be considered like an IDE. Very very similar. It's just very. What I've found is it's very easy for me to just quickly develop something, share it, and then move on, develop something else, share it. So that's kind of like the idea of what these pens are, and that's just what. It's just helping me kind of what I feel like it kind of has like accelerated my like how I develop. Just web stuff. So again, what this is pretty much, you're working inside of the body. Let me open up thing quick to my Epic Pen. My Epic Pen's a little rusty. It's a little rusty. I haven't used my Epic Pen in a while. I gotta crack some rust off of it. All right, rusty Epic Pen. All right, so yeah, like I said, so what we're pretty much working. If you're familiar with like the DOM or the document objects, whatever. So like if you have a regular HTML page, you have your head, and then you got, some metadata in here, you got a title in here, you got some, this is probably where you'll line, if you have maybe like a style sheet, you'll link it in there. And then over here, you'll have your body. And this, in your body of your sheet, this is where you're going to put, all of your structure to your page. So this is going to have your headers, your list, whatever it is, your paragraphs, your articles. All of that's going to be in your header. And then you could have a footer. Some pages have footers, some don't. But this is where you'll put some other some other type of metadata and stuff like that has to do with possibly like you'll see people put like their SSL tags and stuff like that in their footers and stuff like that, and their copyright information and stuff like that. Footers. But either way, the majority of your work's being done in the body. The body is pretty much what the user is interacting with seeing and everything else. Um, the head again is just full of metadata and just doing some of the you know some of the other work behind the scenes, whatever, to the page. Just I don't want to I don't want to over talk about what it all is, but either way, you don't have to worry about linking your you don't have to worry about linking your JavaScript, your CSS inside of the body, okay? Because that's what we're going to be working in right here. All right, you don't have to worry about linking any of this to this. CodePen has already taken care of that. You just got to worry about your awesome code. And that's it. Awesome code. So if you don't want to always worry about the spagazzis, about always making sure you get all, everything linked right and everything, and you just want to get down and make some cool stuff. This is why I like Pen, CodePen. It has other type of features too. There's a project type feature. I won't get into that today, but that's another cool feature of CodePen that I use on another project. I've been building apps with this thing, so it is pretty cool. All right, so I mean, we'll just do a quick whatever. So just imagine we were building something, whatever. We'll call this, we'll just call it head. We'll put something in here. Yeah. World. So, and you can already see what it's already starting to do. So it's already, I mean, we're getting the data back on the web page. So this is just a simple HTML web page, and we're just filling it in with our code here. And then if we come over here to our style sheet, we can call the body. So this is how you can tell that you're working in the body. We can call the body. We'll say font. Say 32 pixels. There we go. We'll increase the font size, or we'll do a text align. Say center. So that's how you can tell you're working on the body. I mean, and then, if you want to, again, interact with something, we'll call the class. We'll call the class that we did. We'll say this is big. It's small. Color. Purple for big, and then for small. All right, so that's, so this is how we could see where we're pretty much working in. Then again, if we want to affect just the div itself, we can maybe say text decoration underline maybe. All right, and that just affect the. So you can see how the pretty much like I don't know, like so you're gonna say like the children have their own style, the big div that's under that's over these two, then you're pulling in that. Uh, and if we want to do something in the JavaScript over here, to maybe do something with this, or I mean, we still have access to the console here too. Um, which is cool. So you have access to the console. You can't. I guess you can input. Uh, you can input uh, like you would interact with the console on a web page uh, on there. Uh, Not so much like giving it commands and stuff like that. Uh, but either way, you could still script some stuff and stuff like that to that console. And then you can write stuff to the console. You can write stuff to the page. So here we'll just simply uh, we'll give this another div. We'll give this a class. We'll call this our scripts Java. Okay. Give this an ID. We'll say whatever. Right. So, um, so say we come over here and we just simply wanted to just maybe interact. Again, we don't have to. I'm going to show you that we don't have to link anything to anything, and we can pull elements and stuff like that. So uh, we can just make some quick variables. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm just going over the. What up, Paulie? How we doing, brother? I seen you were at the trampoline place the other day. Remember Paulie? Yeah, you do. Yeah. I worked with him over at the pickle pool. Hmm? Dude, Paul was the best wire puller ever. Him and Cisco used to get me that wire, guy. They used to get me that wire.
Doesn't make any sense.
Oh, Paulie knows about that wire. Paulie knows all about that wire. Tell him about that wire, Paulie. Tell him about that wire. All right. Bye-bye. That's cool. Oh, you're back at the oil change spot, man? That's good. Is Louis over there with you? That place wasn't. That place shouldn't be too bad of a spot. So, okay, so I'm just making a quick button real quick, guys. Say click me, and no. What I'm gonna do is yeah, I'm just gonna make a quick function. What did I call it? I got. Just gonna do a quick arrow function on this one, guys. I love arrow functions for some reason. I'm like, put the constant. We'll put this. So, all right. So when I click me, constant line bar, and then something wrong. Ah, there it is. All right. So that's all I was trying to show you. uh, I can't believe that took me a minute. Either way, so what what that just proves is you don't have to link to this uh, to the page pretty much over here, and you can interact with it, uh, which is so cool. And so it takes a little bit out of the just having to always make sure you have everything built and everything else into it. Just a little bit of shortcuts. Uh, yeah, we can even we'll make a reset button to reset that, or well, I don't know, whatever. Uh, yeah, we'll make a reset button. Set. pretty much do is yeah, we'll just when that gets called, we'll just nada. Too easy. This. That. Yeah. Const, right. That. Right. Right. Okay. What have I broken? Huh, 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 I broke some. Oh, I get. Huh, that's. What are they doing? I don't get what I'm doing. Huh. Did I break? I think I broke this pen already. Final thought. Reset. Not fine. There you go. I didn't see that. It's over here on this little thing over here, and I couldn't see the little flag. Whatever. So here we go. Blink. There we go. A little reset function. You can tell I've been up all day doing this. So yeah. Okay. So what's regress? What's progress? Not regress. So all right. So I mean, if you guys want to see this pen, just real quick. Okay, so there's that link to this pen right here, uh, that you see me working on. You guys can look at the code. You guys can play with the code and stuff like that. It's just a simple, uh, it's just a simple click me function with this is my JavaScript with a reset function built into it. Uh, and again, this is just simple, very very basic. But this is how I built. Just getting, and again, I'm super fundamental with all my stuff, but this is how I built the building blocks to the next program. Uh, oh, what up? Thank you for the I read my emails. That's a creepy name. How we doing? Uh, but hey, let's go over to. We'll go over to the what I've been working on all day long, and what I wanted, what the stream is pretty much about is this IPv4 subnetting count. Uh, I've been trying, I built something before in Python last year when I started learning how to, code. I started learning how to code in Python. Uh, and I got pretty good at, I don't know how to even, I guess, way how good I got. Either way, I have a fundamental understanding of how to code um, Python pretty basically. Um, I still need to go back and uh, continue uh, learning it. I see it as very important. But either way, So I've moved, I've been bouncing around doing some money, other types of projects, and I've always, wanted to find something that I can find a way to, bring my code to a usable interface, in an easy and fast and fun way. And JavaScript, you know, is that way. You know what I'm saying? JavaScript, the fast way, for me, a fast way to do it is to do it with JavaScript, by doing it, by building it through a web page. So that's what I've been working on for the last, I don't know, couple of weeks. So over the last couple of weeks, I've been just working on some of my Java, how to learn how to work with JavaScript, how to work with an HTML document, stuff like that. Um, and so far, I've gotten I've gotten a couple projects. Posting them up on uh, I've been posting them up on Twitter uh, as I've been doing them, you know, uh, and stuff like that. So, uh, you know, they're getting pretty good. At least I think they're getting pretty good, in my opinion. So here we go. So here's our IPv4 calendar calculator, not calendar. Again, it's pretty much super simple. So this is the HTML right here. It's just worth of a couple buttons, and then I have a couple of these inputs down here, and we'll go over all the functionality of what all of this is doing and stuff like that. Uh, and then we have some in here in this div over here. We have some inputs that you guys will see here in a second once we get pressing on some buttons and stuff like that. And then these over here, these are our, yeah. What I'll do is we'll do this. I'll build them block. Alright, so over here we have the the div head with the simple H1 for the IPv4 calculator text. That's located right here, and I'll show you where we square that all up. Then over here we have another div. All right, we have another div that consists of some buttons, class A, class A, B, C buttons right here. That's what's located right here. So that's what you're seeing on the page with these ABC, class A, B, C buttons. Okay. Then we have another div. This div consists of one input box. Okay, so one input box. That's this first input box that you're seeing on top. The other div you're seeing right here, that's the second input box that you're seeing right here, right underneath. Okay. From there, we have another div. There are some buttons. We'll go over that very shortly. I just highlight the rest because that's pretty much it. So in this next, in the final div, we have some pretty much like empty paragraphs that hold. They're just holding IDs, but with no values, no current values right now. All right, and that's something we're working with in our JavaScript that you'll see how it interacts with the page here very shortly. All right. And then down here at the very bottom, it's just our final two buttons. We have the calculate and set button. And then if you come over here, we have the calculate and set button at the very bottom of our page. Okay. So that is the simple, real quick and skinny structure of the HTML page. There's not really much to it. I guess the only thing that I really have that I need to still, I guess, the only thing I really need to work on is these inputs right here. What I want them to do is hold a so these inputs right here. What I want them to do is I pretty much only want them to, well, when somebody hovers over them, and it's just a hover value. That's all I got to create. So when you hover your mouse over this, I want it to say these default values. So particular in this octet, you can only enter 0 through 255, 0 to 255. That way the user knows that they can only enter in these particular parameters. And then I also need to then work into that how to it's not the end of the world if they enter whatever value into it, because my program just won't do anything, if it enters a bogus value. Uh, but to I want it to catch that bogus value and then give back a response. So that's something. There's a whole bunch. I should probably write this. I should probably write like a checklist on things I need to work on with this project. Uh, but I'm kind of leaning on you guys a little bit too. If you guys want to check it out and kind of see, um, what maybe some features or some functionalities would be neat or useful in something in this kind of application. Um, all right, well, let's see it work, I guess. So over here, we have, so what's really nice, again, these are these hover functions right here that I think are really, really cool, really, really useful when it comes to, uh, you know, bringing that element to the page on how the user really interacts with it. This is responsive. I like this. I like when it does that. You know what I'm saying? That this page is paying attention to you. I like that. So click here. It gives a response, and I'll get into that in a second. I won't get too busy into that in a second. We'll talk about that. But either way, so when we click on our buttons here, we have we're getting default values into our inputs. Okay. All right. So if we click on class A, we get a default class A. Now these are I'm giving the class, pretty much the class. Uh, I'm giving the private class for uh, A, B, and C addresses. That's what you're seeing here. So this is the private class A. This is the private class B, the private class C. But what I have though built into some of the logic that we'll go over in a minute is some of the is parameters that distinguishes the addresses from private and public, from reserved and stuff like that. So I have that logic started, and that's what we need. That's what pretty much is this coding event is about, is continuing on building on that logic and how to define it. So okay, so again, our buttons, they're giving good defaults, which is cool. So if we come over here, we'll go back to class A, all right, and a default class A address, is 10.0.0.0 with the default subnet address of 255.0.0, right? If we click our calculate, it says this is a class A IPv4 address. This is a private class A IPv4 address. Now it's saying that because again, I built the logic around these buttons as being private class IPv4 addresses. But again, it still gives us and I should probably identify that as being public class A address here too, because if we come over here and if we change this value to say 2, you can see that if we come over here, it's only giving us, it's a class A address. It's no longer saying it's a private class A address. Okay, we come back over here and click it to the default value. It'll come back and tell us it's a private class A address. Again, we change this to any other value other than a private class A address. It will give us that it still is, but it isn't. It tells us it's not a private. And I just have to work on what it's saying, but I have the logic, I think, pretty well done. So we'll come back over here to a B. Now this is a default a private class B address is 172.16.0.0 with the network address of 255.255.0.0. We click calculate. We get that this is a class B IPv4 address. This also is a private class B IPv4 address. All right, and it gives us our address right there. All right. Now, again, if we change this value here, so say if we change it to something that isn't a private B address, it doesn't say it. Okay, it tells us that it's just a class B address because the 172 value still falls within the parameters of the class B address. Now, again, we also have we have reserved logic built into this too, guys. Okay, so the 127 is a reserved address range, for loopbacks and stuff like that. Again, yeah, get a class B private. Okay, again, our logic still should be sound. So 172.31 is still a private class B address range. Okay, it's at the very end of it. Okay, but it still is. Now, if we go one over it, right? Now we're pretty much we're back where we were. It's a class B address, but it's not in the private class B range. It's not in the private range. Okay, it's in the public range, but not the private. Same thing when if we come over here to the class C, we get a default. Our default subnet. Our default. We got a default network 192.168. Then we have our network bits, so the 255.255.0. All right. So we have 24 network bits, and we have 8 host bits. Okay. So we come over here, we calculate, we get it that it's a class C IPv4 address. This is a private IPv4 address. Okay. Again, we can make sure that logic is sound. 192.167 is not a private class C address. Okay. All right. It's in the public class C range, but it's not in the private. All right. Same thing with the 169. Okay. All right. It's again in the range of the public range, but it's not in the range of the private range. Okay. And we can change this value, accordingly. And again, since we're still in the parameters of our private range, we get back that this still is within the range of our addresses. Okay. So again, I don't know if we know our reset function works pretty well too. It cleans the slate. All right, for our variables and whatever else that we'll go over here in a minute. And again, our buttons all work very well. Now, what I've seen is and there's probably some kind of package that I need to probably input into it, but it's not working well on Safari browsers. So if you open this pen up on a Safari browser, you might see when this data populates and you try to do another data, the data might get all corrupted. It might come it looks all weird. That's why I built the reset function for the Safari browser. And that's probably something I should probably say for the Safari browser. I built this reset function. Either way, the reset function fixes anything else. And look at that. I even built that. So so this is where I was going with it. I was building the prefix notations. All right. So the prefix notations is another feature of this calculator that we're working on, that I'm working on. I got up to 192. Well, yeah. So what's what's and again, this is the style sheet, guys. It's super simple. I mean, probably the coolest thing is this hover features. I love these hover features. Oh, it's so satisfying. The hover features are so satisfying, guys. I love it. But this is where we're going to be working, is in our JavaScript. Kind of close this all out. And we'll go to work on our JavaScript. If you guys have a hard time seeing me or anything like that, just give me, seeing the code or anything like that, just give me a shout back. Okay? Probably can. Right, increase the basic. That way you guys can see my code a little bit more. All right. So this is pretty much the JavaScript that we got going on, guys. So what pretty much these are calling. So if we go back to our HTML over here, when our buttons, okay, when we call our buttons over here, all right, for this first button 1 over here, when that gets called, all right, it's calling this function. Okay, I love arrow functions. Again, I love arrow functions. So again, when this gets called, all right, it's calling this function. So when we click on this, it calls this. Okay, and that's because of this right here. All right, so underline. Let me get my underline. All right, so when we call class A on this button here, all right, we get this. We call this. All right. Now, what this is doing, what class A is doing, is it's going to get all these IDs. Okay, so it's looking for all these IDs in the document. Okay, all right. And that just happens to be all of these. Okay, so the second you click on this button, all right, my function is pulling in, it's pretty much pushing all these values to these objects on the page. Pretty much. All right, and you can see that our default, these are our default values right here. Again, so once you click on our class A button, so let's click on our class A button. We click on our class A button, we get the default value of 10, 0.0.0, 255.0.0. And here we go right here. And my chat is in the way. Oh, boy. Let me just turn this down. Beautiful. All right. All right, so I just wanted to make sure you guys can see the code more than anything. Okay, so again, so when we call our class A button over here, again, this is our default values that we're getting. Okay, again, so if we come back, scroll to class B. Same thing with class B here. Again, so when we call our class B button over here, all right, we're gonna get this whole entire function back. All right, so yeah, so again, so this whole entire function back to fact. And then in that, again, so it's just doing the same thing again. It's just getting these default values. Press the button. Press the button. Default values. Cool. I mean, any questions at all, guys? More coffee? The wife needs to bring me more coffee. Coffee. All right. So, guys, ask questions. Wherever you guys are at out there. I lost it. All right. All right, let's move on. All right. So again, what I was working on was this prefix, uh, notation here. All right, and that is right down here. All right. So what I did was when you press the calculate function. Now this is the get result. That's the when you press the calculate. Again, it's pulling in the octets, and then I have a couple of nested ifs else statements. Um, that's going through. This. These might seem long and maybe maybe hard to understand. Uh, but what it's doing is it's pretty much going through logic and saying if octets don't meet certain parameters, uh, then it's not what it is. So I mean, so we'll take for instance this whole operation right here. This operation is going to figure out if this is a private class B address. Now again, this is not going to probably be uh, my end result statements. I'm just using this for now because just to have these logical operations already built, and that's what a lot of this code is in helping me, I guess, work through is probably kind of see almost full, almost full. So I mean, again, they look long, uh, but they're not that super complicated. It's pretty much saying if octet one is less, is less, is greater than or equal to, so is greater than or equal to 172, and octet one is less than 173. So it's pretty much can only be 172. And octet 2 is greater than or equal to 16. And octet 2 is less than 32. So this one, so octet 2 has a parameter, so it can be from 16 to no greater than 32. So the last thing it could be is 31. So it can be 16, 17, all the way up to 31. Okay. And then again, then what I've also figured into that, because what you have to figure into that, because if somebody changes it, I just have to keep thinking about, what the user is going to do and how my program's going to interact with that user. So I'm trying to think of every use case of what the user's going to do. So that's the fun of it. So then again, what I've gone into then is, again, so what I've already identified is the subnet values. And again, this is real. It's just what I've tried not to overcomplicate what I'm doing. So it's just these values here. So these are the octets. So I'm naming these. So these values are the octets. All right. And then these values in here, these are the subnet, the sub values. Okay. So whenever you see these octs, that's just getting from these inputs. All right. And the subs, that's getting from the bottom one right there, guys. Okay. All right. So again, so just simple operations. This, octet one is no, octet. The first if statement is pretty much if is no greater, is less than, or is pretty much greater than or equal to 1. And octet 1 is no greater than 126. It is a class A address. Perfect logic. Because again, this when we use the greater than and equal to, it's going to that exact number. Okay, it's not going under that number. That's one thing we have to remember, and that was one thing with that operator. This is a very powerful operator because it gets you to that exact numbers that you want. 1 is what I want, because 0 is not a class A. That's actually a reserved address range. And I should probably build that into my logic too, because that needs to be identified. The 0, that 0.0.0 is a reserved address range. It just is. It's not a class A address. Okay. The 1.0.0 is a class A address, right? Up to 126. Right? But the private class A range doesn't start until the first octet gets to 10. Right? But it only goes to 10. So you can kind of see where I'm with work and all of this. You guys are confused, just give me a shot. It shouldn't be confusing. It shouldn't be confusing. Very, very simple. I've tried to, this is how I this is at least how I understand how to program stuff like that. So again, at the very end of that my calculate function here for that calculate button, right? My calculate button. What I'm doing is I'm calling in a new function, because I wanted a new function to build the subnet logic into out of that other function, just for it to be a little bit more modular. Because I'm gonna probably have to go back in when I refract all the code. I'm gonna modulize everything just to make it plug and playable a lot easier. Just it'll make sense. But this is pretty much where we left off right here. All right. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying not to pollute my namespace. So that's one thing that I'm trying to prevent from doing, is having well, I guess I am over polluting it but I hate using the same names for different things, even though I can. I just find it when code is built like that so utterly confusing to follow, at least for my understanding level. It's just like it's hard. It's hard to understand. I find it hard. You know. So we're gonna continue on. We're just gonna continue building these. I'm gonna continue building these. There. Useless. Useless. Useless to me. My expectations. How's everybody doing, man? We're gonna be playing some music here in a second once I get into my little code phase. Just give me 1 second, guys. I'm gonna go fill up my coffee. Never grab it after. Alright. Just need to grab more coffee real quick. We're about to jump into. Not gonna overdrive over here. Jumping into overdrive. Alright, so where are we at? So the next one is 192, 64. Four, two, let's check that logic real quick. Save. So what we just did is say we come over here, say the class A, we say 224 for the subnet, for the pretty much the network, the network address. We're gonna get back the /3 prefix notation. All right. So in this octet, this would be the /3 subnet ID. Okay. You're probably not used to seeing a /3. I'm just trying to build in every logical answer that all of these things are going to, everything's going to give the correct answer. It's just, it's just what, it's going to be a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But once we get to like chunks, there's going to be like, once we build this, there's going to be like chunks. You'll see how we're going to be like chunking code together and stuff like that to ultimately build all of this into it. Where is my cursor? Right? Not 240. So here we go. So here we should have yeah. Ooh, I like that good sound, baby. That is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it. 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 All right, now we're into the next suboctet. So pretty much. This is how we're gonna build that quick block. Just going through some of our submitting logic here. In a minute. We'll test this second. Second suboctet. Second. All right. So that should have built the logic for the next one. Good. backwards. We just gotta do it. Ah, yeah, that's what I have to do it backwards because obviously, because it's just going down. It's getting these. It's finding whatever it's whatever it finds first. That's why it was landing only. That's why it kept on giving back the 8 fixed because with the 255 right here, it says okay, that's what I'm matching. So I'm just gonna continue to give you back that 8. It wasn't going past that. So that's why I had to reverse that logic so we can get that. So if we come over here, we get this 128. We should get this 9, 192, 10, 224, 48. Let's figure out. Let's go to 42. I just seen something too. need an else. I need an else. I need to figure out some kind of logic for how to translate that makes sense better. So, yeah. Keep on getting like this is like fucking on my eyes. just like messing with it right now. I can't even look at this. It's so wet. I gotta change this. Some color I can add to this. It's like messing with my eyes while I it's cracking. We're going. Alright, guys, so let's get back into it. I'm sorry, the notepad was messing with me. Don't let it mess with you, Joe. Don't let it be you. This will make all the sense in the world here very soon. Close to me. That's 1, 2, 2. Three. Up a little bit. I think it's ready to go. Like I said, though, I need to figure out. Trying to figure out this logic here. Buckle in. One more left. I think I'm still streaming. Had to open real quick. Because I gotta do this. I'm gonna do this different. Working. So, what? What we need for logic is this. Can't believe I looked right past it. All right. This is pretty much our code. So this is what I'm. All right. So this should work. You guys understand what I had just had to figure out real quick? Wasn't thinking fully about where my logic was. I had to make sure I covered all my bases with that. So, what? Alright, so what I'm gonna be doing is the piece that the part of the code that I removed, which was the prefix 9 through prefix 16, pretty much, which is the second part of that subnet ID here. I removed that because we needed to add these other pieces of logic to it. Let's just grab that. So. We have to go back to the other one and do the same thing with the other one. Just want to make sure that's right. This should be I'm gonna make sure I'm not missing something else is here. Yeah, I've deleted a couple things a couple times already. I'm getting scared of what I'm doing. So let's get this code done. looks good. Save it. All right. Now let's see if it works. Yes. Not get too excited. Let's change this to an arbitrary value that doesn't make any sense. Yes. It says it does not make sense. Throw your garbage in the trash. Woo! Another arbitrary value of trash. It says no. Trash removal. My logic is sound. All right. So that is for those. Now we. Yeah, like so, and now we got this one. This is the 19th through the 24th month. So where are we at with this? This was another snippet I had to remove because I was going about it. It was missing logic. That's good. So I just need this fourth. Yeah. So if we have that. So that should get us through 19 to 24. Yeah. Good. Double checking all of it real quickly. All right, so that code looks good. That down. Good and lined up good. Everything's good and lined up good. Let's save that now. Yes. Okay, now let's give arbitrary value of poop. Okay, it says poop value. Poop. It says your values smell like poop. Uh-oh, something's broken. How did I... Oh. That's how did I... How did I miss without you? Because I did not scroll up.
All right. Yeah, we're cooking with gasoline. I like the progress we are making. So, these have these very last so this will be the last ones. That's. So what we want is our values. We want our values to represent what's in our very last one. Just make sure I got all of them. Yep. Now we just gotta go back here and just fix this up. Six.
Ah. Um, oh, I see what I did wrong. I should have fixed that. Mess up. Yes. Well, that builds that. Alright, so we got the prefix function work. Like paste. Trying to think what else. What's the next function? Need. So we're giving the prefix.
trying to think.
You guys have any ideas for me? Like, what should be the next function? Anything like that? I know. What was I talking about earlier? See, that's why I need to start writing things down. That's not that bad. I think it's pretty descriptive. Definitely need more comments in there though. Definitely need more comments. That way somebody can kind of understand what's going on. So, what's next? What's next is me using the bathroom. Oh, fuck it.
Alright, I'm back.
Cheese. The cheese. No. No, I want to look at. I'm gonna update this to that. So, like I said, some time ago, I had written an actual, I had written something in Python, and it was, I called it my, Mr. Fu, Mr. Fu IP address info. and it's a cool little program. I used some Python modules and IPv4, use the module IPv4 network in the module IP addresses, and it has some cool. It has some cool stuff in it where it understands like multicast address, server address, and stuff like that. It takes some of the work out of what, kind of like sort of like what I did in JavaScript. So it will understand this. It understands this. Return it back. What I wanted from this was put in some good stuff in it. This stuff right there. Address. Give the RFC by any chance? Let's go to the ION website. I like that. No RFC 19. We'll punch somebody right in the throat. Stupid. Oh, holy moly, good looking looking out, Xavier! You're the man! Good looking out on the subscription. You're the best. You just made my day. Alright, we're looking for RFC 1918 over there too. It's hiding in there. Doesn't want to be seen. Look. Why is RFC 1918 being so difficult right now, Connor? So go side down. Classless interdomain routing. Man, am I like, have I gone to like a different dimension where RFC 1918 doesn't exist any longer? Do it this way. Haha, there it is. Haha. Really that hard to find. There's been an update to RFC 1918. It's the right RFC.
It's like trash. How should I do this? It's not looking good on the phone, I'll tell you that much. Let's say CRT 1918. What happened to my music, man? Any suggestions out there from anybody? What I guess would be better descriptive? So, I mean, this already tells you what it is. It's class B, IPv4. Oh. This is a class B address. This address is private address. Leave me there.